live from Mo City, Texas, in the Mo City studio. I am your host, Mr. C. Bake, here with my boy, Gerard Cole, aka G, aka Rude Boy. What's the deal, man?
I'm over here, I'm chilling, man. Just had a long day at work, but I was like, I gotta kick it with my man from H-Town, spit some knowledge to him.
Spit some knowledge, huh? That sound like something from somebody from New York. But hey, man, we in the building today. You all, man, we gonna kick this podcast off. We got the Rude Boy in here. One of my boys I've known for a long time. Shout out to Mo Serious. Shout out to Chuck. I know Chuck said I already said it in the introduction, but I gotta say it again. Thank you, Chuck, man, for the opportunity. I want to thank the Mo Serious family, everybody that supports us. We're gonna keep rolling all the way into the next year. To get things started off. Hey, Rude Boy, man, you got anything to say, man? You got anything you want to add?
I want to say thank you for having me, man. And for real, Most serious, I appreciate it, man. This H-Town love, I always love you guys down south, man.
Hey, that's right. Hey, you say that, man, but we got to get you down here in the studio. I'm glad you hit me with me today because you can see this thing is live. We've been grinding on the chitlin circuit with the laptop in the living room, but now we in the studio. It's for
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We've been talking about this for years, man. You can make things are all possible through God. But anyway, let's get right into it. The state of boxing, Rude Boy. Now, everybody been talking about the mega fight, the super fight. Of course, Errol Spence, Eric Spence Jr. versus
Crawford.
Yeah, Errol Spence versus Crawford, Bud Crawford. And that's a super welterweight clash at the 147-pound limit. Mm-hmm. And before we get into it, let me ask you this. Who do you have in that fight, and tell me why?
I love Crawford, man. I've been a fan of Crawford for a minute. I love how technical he is as a boxer. Mm-hmm. I think he's just a well-rounded boxer. I haven't seen too many since, Floyd Mayweather that have the skill, the speed, even a lot of people used to hate on my man Mayweather. He has some power, man. He has some power too. And Crawford he's that guy. He's that guy.
You comparing Bud Crawford to Floyd Mayweather. So you saying you seeing similarities, or you saying
I'm saying if you want to relate to generations, like this generation of boxing, I haven't seen no one better than him since Mayweather. I mean, we could go down a weight class and I could talk about someone a little bit later, but I would say Crawford is the undisputed best boxer in boxing right now, hands down.
Okay, we got to talk about this undisputed, man. You got to stop talking about undisputed. I'm going to explain what undisputed means. He is undefeated. Ladies and gentlemen, he means undefeated, meaning that Bud Crawford, yes, has not suffered a loss yet. So you taking Bud Crawford. I mean, I could rock with that. In my heart of hearts, man, I want to go with Bud Crawford because I agree with you. I think he's skilled. Watching him box over the years, I agree with you. I don't even see any weakness. His footwork is great. His stamina is good. And one thing that I didn't think he had was power. I watched him, and he's in the welterweight division right now. That's 147 pounds, challenging Spence. When he was at 140, he was undisputed. Now, what I mean by undisputed to the fans is that he collected all 4 belts. And there's 4 different boxing commissions. There's the World Boxing Association, the WBA, the World Boxing Organization, which is the WBO, and then there is the WBC, World Boxing Council, and then the IBF, which is the International Boxing Federation, I believe. So all those different organizations I just named, they're sanctioning bodies. And all of them hold a belt or a championship belt. So you can be a WBA champion, you can be a WBO champion, an IBF champion, a WBC champion. All of those different organizations validate you as a champion. And so when you mean undisputed, you mean that you have all 5 belts. You pretty much control the division. Or when you hear somebody say unify the division. So in a sense, I have to correct myself. You are right. Because now he's fighting at 147. Now, before he came to 147, he was at 140. which I believe is called the super lightweight junior welterweight division. It's 140 pounds. And you are correct in the sense that he was undisputed, because before he came to the welterweight division, which is 147, he was at 140 pounds and he became undisputed at that weight.
Yeah.
He collected all the belts. So I have to correct myself. I was ready to get on you and say that you was wrong.
It's all right. It's all right. You from H-Town, man. You from H-Town, man. We argue about, that John Stark corner,
Yeah, but no, I mean, to your point though, the reason why he's fighting at this division is because when he fought at 140, which means the super lightweight junior welterweight division, he unified and became undisputed. He collected all the belts. He decided to leave that division, which means he vacated the belts, meaning he left them behind, meaning that people can now step in and fight for those belts at that weight, 140 pounds. Now he moved up to welterweight. And he did that because he dominated and, he wanted more competition. So, like I said, you are right. He was undisputed. Not a lot of people do that in boxing, but he moved up to 147, where right now for this fight that's going to happen, and I'm hoping it happens soon, it'll be at 147 pounds at the welterweight division. Right now at that division, Bud Crawford has the WBO welterweight belt. So when he moved up, he did become a champion.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
With a record of 38-0 with 29 knockouts. Now, Errol Spence Jr., straight out of Texas, my home state, Dallas, Texas, to be exact. He is 28-0 with 22 knockouts, and he has the WBA, WBC, and IBF championship, which means he has 3 of those belts, and he's coming to try to take the belt. If he takes the one belt, or rather if he defeats Terrence Crawford, he will have all 4 belts in the welterweight division, making him undisputed.
That won't happen.
Huh?
That won't happen.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me say this before we get into the other guys. I definitely think if I had to put my money where my mouth is, I would definitely go with Bud Crawford, just because, like I said, his skill, his footwork, and again, his power. One thing that I thought that he would struggle with when he decided to make the move from super lightweight to welterweight is I didn't know if he had the power. He was fighting at 140 pounds. Moving up from 140 pounds to 147 pounds is a big difference when it comes to power. And so when he walked through that 140 pound division, I was like, well, when you get up to 147, that's going to be a problem, because Spence is a big welterweight. And what I mean by that is at fight night, he'll be 147. I mean, in the weigh-ins, he'll be 147 pounds. He'll train to get down to that. But when he's not training, he probably walks around at 160, 155.
160, yeah.
So, he got a lot of power. He's walking around with a lot of natural power. So that's when I say Spence can win or Spence has a chance, Crawford hasn't faced anybody, maybe other than Sean Porter, that has that kind of power. So if Spence is going to win, I think Spence is going to have to use his power. I mean, we've never seen Bud, in all due respect to Bud Crawford, we've never seen Bud being, kind of outclassed, outboxed.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I am leaning towards Bud. But again, man, Errol Spence, you can't sleep on Errol Spence, man.
He's tough, man.
He's tough, man. Tough. I think his last 3 fights, he stopped people by a knockout or, just a stoppage period. And so he's got a lot of power, man. I mean, he stopped Ugas the last fight. He also fought Sean Porter. This was a long time ago. But yeah. I mean, for all you Bud fans, if you look at that fight with Sean Porter and Bud, and you think of Sean Porter and Errol Spence, Crawford stopped Sean Porter. Whereas Errol Spence had to get the decision. I mean, Errol Spence knocked him down one time, but I think Bud Crawford knocked him down 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And Sean Porter, everybody knows in that division, Sean Porter is the man. I mean, he definitely lives a vegan lifestyle. He don't drink, he don't smoke. He comes to work with his hard hat. And a lot of those welterweights, man, when they want to see how tough they are, and Sean Porter's been a champion, they fight Sean Porter.
You know what I want to see though? I want to see them start unifying and start having so many belts and just have one for every class.
I mean,
I think it takes away from the sport. I think it's just how golf is like right now, golf with the LIV league. It takes away having multiple leagues. Just have one league and just have one champion and make them fight it out.
I mean, I agree because at the end of the day, you know, when we was coming up in the 80s, man, you know, Mike Tyson, that's all we heard. We didn't hear nothing about WBC, WBA, IBF. Mike Tyson is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yep.
It wasn't, you know, it might have been different belts, but at that time, and I don't know what belt Tyson had. We just looked at it as Mike Tyson is the heavyweight champion of the world. It ain't no IBF, WBC. Mike Tyson is the man. So I agree with you. But I would say this, man, they probably not going to do that because there's so much money as far as somebody saying, I'm the IBF champ, I'm the WBO champ. You know, it's money in the sanctioning bodies. They get to control who holds the belt, who fights who. So, but I agree with you, man. I think it's too many belts.
Too many belts, man. It takes away from the luster of who's the real champion to me, in my honest opinion. Right. It's like back in the day when we used to watch WCW and WWF and they had intercontinental champions and stuff.
Right.
Come on now, man. Because no need for all that.
Right. And at the end of the day, we want a king. We want one king. That's it.
Yeah.
One king. We want one king, one person with the power. And if anybody wants to get their belt, they have to fight that person. You know, I mean, you can have these other fights where people move up in rankings, but what do we care about? Who is the number one?
Who's the number one?
Right. So with that being said, you know, let's get into the future of boxing, man. I'm so excited to talk about this. I mean, it's been all over the podcast world in terms of boxing. We talk about the lightweight division. And I'm so excited about it because we got these young guys, these young champions. In particular, we'll talk about 4 guys. And the lightweight division is 135 pounds, which is 2 divisions under Bud Crawford, under Errol Spence. And you got 4 guys, and they're not, all of them are not particularly in the lightweight division, but there's been talk about all these guys coming to the lightweight division. Devin Haney, undisputed lightweight champion of the world.
Real good.
Gervonta Davis, your guy, Gervonta Tank
Yes,
Davis.
sir. Yes, sir.
Shakur Stevenson, my guy, from Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Shakur, who's now living and training in Houston, Texas. That's right. Okay. Under Jay Prince Boxing. Shout out to Jay Prince. And a lot of people don't agree with this next guy, but you cannot deny that he's undefeated and he's got a big following just like Tank, but Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia that we saw just fight this last weekend where he dropped Javier Fortuna in the 6th round at 140 pounds, which is the super lightweight junior welterweight, what we was talking about where Bud came from before he went to welterweight. But let me ask you this. You got these 4 guys. Devin Haney is 23 years old, 28-0, no losses, of course, no draws. Currently undisputed, which means that Devin holds the WBA championship, WBC belt, IBF belt, and WBO belt. He's undisputed. You got Shakur Stevenson at the age of 25 years old with 18-0, no losses, no draws. He's fighting at the super featherweight, junior lightweight, which is 130 pounds, is 1 division underneath them.
Yeah.
But Shakur is talking about not only he's trying to go undisputed in that division, and then he's talking about moving up to 135.
Yeah, 135.
That's why we got him in this discussion. Shakur is 18-0. He's got 9 KOs. And then, of course, we got Ryan Garcia, like we said before. Ryan Garcia, I believe let's say Shakur, let's go back. Shakur is 25 years old. Ryan Garcia has 23 fights, by which he's 23-0 with 19 KOs. Now, let me play this thing. You got 4 new superstars in the division, and I don't mean really new, but all of these guys are under the age of 30. All of them are undefeated. Um, you got 3 of them that are champions, and you got one that's popular, and that's the one I'm talking about with Ryan Garcia. Mm-hmm. Tell me about, what do you think about these guys, and who is your favorite? Who is your favorite boxer?
So I'm kind of torn between Tank and Shakur Stevens. Stevens is, I probably started watching him about a year and a half ago, and I just love his charisma. I love his. I feel like he's very fluid as a boxer. I would rank him probably third on this list. I still I would rank him third. I think that Haney and Tank is a little bit better at this point. I give him about another year, and I will probably, start comparing him to Tank. I think he's better than Garcia. Garcia is the weakest one to me.
Well, we can agree with that, right? That Garcia is number 4.
He's definitely number 4. But for me, Tank Davis being 25 with 2 decisions, 27 wins with 25 knockouts and 2 decisions, because I'm big. I don't really like decisions too much, man. When you're an elite boxer, I don't think you have too many decisions out there.
Wow.
That's just how I truly feel, man. You can show me you're a good boxer, and I see that you're still winning, but decisions for me is like you leaving it up in the air. It wasn't totally conclusive that you dominated the match sometimes.
Okay, now hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you. Okay, I don't mean to interrupt you. Now, you just said when we started this podcast, well, you alluded to, maybe before we got on air, that Floyd is the king.
He is the king.
Okay, Floyd is the king. Floyd didn't knock out people like that.
No. But let's get this right. He would control the whole. His decisions are totally different, because when you watch Floyd Mayweather, if you don't beat him or knock him out within the first 2 or 3 rounds, he already figures you out. And then it just becomes like you're just watching something beautiful. Like he just plays with you. He's jabbing you. He's dancing for the crowd. Like it was entertainment watching Floyd. There's other people, when they get decisions, it's not entertainment. Sometimes you go into the 12th round and you're like, is he up? Is he going to win? Like, how many rounds did he lose? Mayweather's different. You knew he didn't lose any round, but besides maybe the first or second, because he adjusted so quickly. My man Tank, man, he's a problem. He reminds me a lot of Mayweather as well, man. I think besides Crawford, those are my 2 in boxing right now.
So your order in that division right now, if you say right now, you have to break everything down. You got Tank Davis number 1. You got Devin Haney number 2. You got Shakur Stevenson number 3, and of course you got Ryan Garcia at number 4.
Yep.
Now let me ask you this: you're a Tank fan. You're a big Tank fan. 27-0 with 25 wins by knockout. He's definitely the biggest pay-per-view draw out of all 4 of these. Well, that's what I think. As far as boxing, you made that comment. You like to watch Tank. Do you like to watch Tank because you know that it's possible that a knockout is brewing? Or because, again, when you say Mayweather, you talk about Mayweather, you said that Mayweather's going to dominate the fight. Okay. Now, Mayweather wasn't knocking nobody out. I mean, every now and then he would knock somebody out.
But he'll beat you up. There's a difference between knocking someone out and getting beat up. I think I'd rather get knocked out than to spend a whole entire match getting my face bashed in. Like, that's just how Mayweather did you. He just beat you up, but he didn't knock you out.
But you like Tank because of the knockouts?
I like Tank because you don't ever go into any 12th round feeling like, oh, did he lose it? Is he going to lose this match? Like, I feel like you already know who he is, and he's entertainment too. Like, I think he's fun to watch. I like his adjustments. He's quick. I feel like he's someone, like, if you teaching your son or your nephew or someone boxing, or even your daughter the boxing, you want to have them watch film of people such as Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard, even Foreman to an extent, like, I just feel like Tank has that element where you see a little bit of speed, you see a little bit of power, you see the way he switches stance and switches up on somebody, and he just surprises you.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I listen, I'm not gonna take nothing away from Tank. I'm a Tank fan. I think out of all 4, Tank is probably the most popular. I mean, again, 25 knockouts. And the thing about Tank is this. It's a couple of things that I like about Tank. And I'm kind of going in your favor when I say this, but I don't think Tank is the number one fight out of this group, but we'll get to that later. But for Tank, what impresses me about Tank, first of all, he's 135 pounds. And we haven't seen anybody, or I haven't seen anybody with 135 pounds to have the power to hit like that. Usually when we talk about guys in those divisions, I'm talking about lightweight, super lightweight, welterweight. I mean, welterweight, you get a little bit more power, but you don't see guys that small with that power.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, when you're watching Tank fight, you know that can happen. I think one of the most impressive knockouts I ever seen him do, and I don't know if you remember this fight, it was a big pay-per-view fight when he fought Mario Barrios.
Yeah,
That
was his 25th fight. He was 25-0 at the time.
Yeah, he actually went up to 140 to fight Barrios. And Barrios had a belt at the time, and they fought for their belt. But I mean, to see Tank, that's when I knew his power was real. To see Tank hit Barrios, I mean, pretty much knock him into next week. I mean, that's incredible, you know, to be 135 pounds and be able to knock out a 140 pounder with that kind of power. That's when I knew his power was real.
Yeah.
I think, to speak to your point, I think sometimes people, and I did this at first with Tank, oh, he's just a knockout artist. But the more and more I watch him, he's becoming a boxer. I'm not going to even say he's becoming a boxer. He's showing me more boxing skills.
Yeah.
I like his head movement. He's moving his head a lot. He's countering well. So he's showing me something. That's the scary part to me about Tank more than his power, is that he is a boxer. So yeah, I think what makes him special is that punching power, but at the same time, what makes him scary is his ability to be able to box. I mean, 25 wins by knockout out of 27 fights.
That's a problem. A lot of matches don't go past like 6, 7, 8 rounds, man.
Right. So the scary part is, you know, he can box. Now, here's my next question. Well, here's my order. Well, let me talk about Shakur Stevenson and then we'll move on. Shakur Stevenson is 18-0. He fights in the what division he fights again? I think it's the super featherweight, junior lightweight. Has 2 belts, WBC, WBO. Kid out of Newark, New Jersey. He, to me, out of the 4, resembles Floyd the most. I think he has the best footwork. He has the best instincts. I'm not going to say he has the best boxing IQ, but I think between him and Haney, and I'm not saying Tank don't have great boxing IQ, but when I watch Shakur Stevenson fight, man, it reminds me so much of Floyd Mayweather, how he counters, how he outboxes, how he outclasses.
And don't get me wrong though. I think that he's up there. My issue, the reason why I don't put him up there with Davidson yet, is because I don't think he's strong enough to beat them yet. I think that technically, that I agree with you. I 100% think he's probably the most sound, but I just don't think he has the power to beat someone like Tank Davis right now. Or Haney.
All right, but let me ask you this, and I'm glad you brought that up. When Floyd fought, right? Do you think Floyd, all the guys, let's take Marcos Maidana. When he fought Marcos Maidana, do you agree that Marcos Maidana was a stronger fighter than Floyd?
I agree. I think a majority of the fighters that Floyd fought were stronger.
Right. So at the end of the day, he fought strong fighters, but they couldn't beat him because of his skill. And see, I think if you put Shakur Stevenson in that ring with Tank Davis, now here's the thing. You put Shakur Stevenson in the ring with Tank Davis, on what Shakur is going to have to face, or what Shakur is going to have to, you know, battle against with Tank Davis, is his power. And I mean by that is, does Shakur have the ability to keep Tank Davis off of him? Because Tank Davis can knock you out with either hand. But if Tank Davis can't knock out Shakur Stevenson, just like Maidana couldn't knock out Floyd, just because Floyd is a counterpuncher, Floyd has footwork, and Floyd is not going to let you land a punch. Shakur Stevenson would do the same thing to Tank Davis.
I can see that.
I don't think Tank Davis, I think the only way Tank Davis can beat Shakur Stevenson is by knockout, because he's not going to outbox him. So in that sense, I think Shakur Stevenson is the better boxer.
He is the better boxer, but I still think he could catch him. It's kind of like the whole Tyson versus Holyfield back in the day. We all know Tyson was like, he's going to knock you out, like no matter what. He was like Mark Aguirre, all home runs, but nothing else. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but he's at the top of his game. He was considered the best because people were just that scared. He knocked you out just from walking into the ring.
Yeah, but when Tyson faced Holyfield, Tyson faced Lennox Lewis, when he faced boxers.
But that was different. His trainer died.
Here we go.
That mental health crisis.
No, you're talking about man, you're talking about Buster Douglas, man. I'm talking about the thing about knockout artists. And I'm not saying Tank is knockout artist. I'm saying Tank's greatest attribute is his power.
Yeah.
But if you can't use their power on somebody, if somebody neutralizes your power by counterpunching you, not letting you, get off that fight on the outside. See, the thing about Shakur Stevenson is he understands range just like Floyd understands range.
Yeah.
If you watch Floyd fight Manny Pacquiao, okay, we all know that Manny Pacquiao had a lot of power, and Manny Pacquiao was mostly an offensive fighter. If you watch Floyd get in the ring with him, what Floyd did is he closed the distance, and that's what you do with punches. You close the distance so they can't extend. I think Shakur Stevenson does that to Tank Davis. Now, don't get me wrong, Tank Davis is very athletic. He can probably jump over some of those punches, meaning, the counters and everything like that. But I just think Shakur Stevenson he's a master boxer like Floyd. You can't sit up here and tell me that you like Floyd. You can't sit up here and tell me that you like Floyd, but then turn around and say,
I'm not saying here.
Tank is going to be Shakur Stevenson when everybody knows that Shakur Stevenson is the mirror of Floyd. Come on, man.
I agree with that, but I don't
just say you like Tank. I like Tank.
I will say I don't think that Shakur Stevens is developed as a
Stevenson, man. Stop saying Steven. You're going to stop disrespecting my man.
I like Stevenson. I definitely like Stevenson, but I don't think that he's Stevens. He's good, but he has to understand.
And you know what? And he live in Houston, Texas right now, and he managed by Jay Prince. You're going to stop. You know what? You're not only disrespecting him, you're disrespecting the city of Houston. You're disrespecting Jay Prince, man. The man's name is Shakur Stevenson. Man, the next time you say Shakur Stevens, I'm going to find you, bro.
Nah, but for real, though,
I want you to say the man's name. What's his name, man?
Shakur Stevens.
Disrespecting Houston and stop disrespecting New Jersey. Shout out Shakur and Jay Prince, man.
I will have to
say, Shakur Stevens, man.
I would definitely have to say, though, he has to get stronger. I really can't see him. I really think he has to get stronger. He can't sit there and hang with Haney, or he can't hang with Davis right now. I think he could definitely beat Garcia right now. I'm not questioning that. But right now, I think Haney and Davis is more developed as boxers. I feel like they're more in their prime into their manhood. It's just like being in basketball. When you come into the NBA, you're a rookie. You ain't developed your body yet. You ain't strong yet. I feel like he's still got some growth to do there.
Some growth, man. What you mean? So Devin Haney is 23 years old. Shakur Stevens.
But he's a different 23-year-old. You remember when LeBron came in? He's like, grown man.
Man. Then now we're gonna go to LeBron and we're gonna go to the Knicks next, right? Come on, man. Stop it. Why are you disrespecting? You know what?
I like him, yo. Don't get me wrong. We got to see that match, because we see that match. I think you'd be like, damn, Davis knocked his ass out. But I mean, it could happen.
He called out Tank Davis, and guess what? Tank fighting under Floyd, want to be protected, won't say nothing. In fact, Shakur Stevenson said, don't ask him no more about a Tank fight, because he said, let Tank say something. And Tank ain't saying nothing.
But
you know why Tank ain't saying nothing? And just to add to that, let me throw this in for all you Tank fans, for all you knockout artist fans. Floyd is the one who stepped in the press conference, and you're going to go look this up because you think I'm making this up. I'm telling you I'm not making it. Floyd stepped in and said, Why is Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson making comments about Tank? They should fight each other. That's protection talk, bro. That's like, let me get you off of my fighter. Why don't y'all fight each other? Because y'all both on Top Rank, and everybody knows that Tank is on Mayweather Promotions. So Floyd himself said that. So in order for Floyd is fluid in the game. Floyd understands the fight game from a boxing standpoint and from a promoter standpoint. He did say that, and we will pull up that clip in the future where he said that.
No, I could see Mayweather saying something like that, but
that's protection talk, man.
At the same time, you at the top of the game, man. You let people go off your time, man. Like you don't just respond to someone else to make them more popular and famous. Sometimes you make them wait, let it marinate.
Okay, I understand that.
And I can also see Mayweather. He's a moneymaker. What he wants them to do, he wants them to the fight because he knows if he gets the winner, that's going to be more money. That's going to be a mega fight. Floyd is a businessman.
Okay, I can understand that. I can rock with that. I can rock with that because I do know Floyd is a businessman. I do know that he always, he's very smart in terms of, timing as far as making the fight. Floyd understands that it's the right time. I still think that my heart of hearts, my boxing knowledge says it's protection talk, but I'll let you ride with that because I know I respect Floyd's ability to make money. So I will, in the sense that he's saying that Shakur Stevenson, because Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney are both, I think they both fought with Top Rank. Well, I know Shakur Stevenson is with Top Rank with Bob Arum, that they need to fight each other, and then maybe that'll create, if whoever wins that fight, maybe that creates a mega fight for Tank. So I might let you ride with that, from a business standpoint, but I think it's protection talk. And another reason why I think it's protection talk is there's footage out there of the young man Devin Haney having a sparring session with Tank.
I didn't see that. I got to look that up.
Tank ran out of gas, which Floyd stepped in and had to say, ho, let's just stop right there. I'm just saying there's footage out there.
Okay, I ain't get to see that. I'm gonna have to look as soon as we're done with this podcast. I'm gonna have to look that up.
There's footage out there of Tank quitting. Now it's just a sparring session. Everybody get beat in a sparring session, but I'm just saying, there's footage out there. Devin Haney put it out there that he'll fight Tank. But let me ask you this question, man. You brought up a good point. That's a good segue. You talked about popularity. You talked about Tank being at the top of the food chain, and I agree with that 100%. It's been talk within the last couple of days in the boxing community with Ryan Garcia, who just defeated Javier Fortuna. I think it was just this past Saturday or Saturday before. And they asked him, who do you want next? He said, Tank. And it was kind of interesting to me because I'm saying to myself, man, why would Ryan Garcia want to fight Tank? And what does he gain out of fighting Tank? Now, let me ask you, because you're a Tank fan, why would he want to take that fight with Tank versus taking Devin Haney? Because Devin Haney has all the belts. Devin Haney is undisputed. Why would you think that Ryan would want to fight Tank first?
Because Davis is the payday. He's the payday. Anyone wants to fight him right now. He's the payday. Same thing with Crawford. Everyone's going to say, I want to fight Crawford next because it's the payday. So it's the same thing with Tank. Right now, he's the cream of the crop. Everyone knows it. Even everyone knows it. And right now, if you want to get paid in boxing, you got to pay the best. It's just like playing the Yankees, man. Yankees coming to town, Astro Stadium sells out. If the Royals are in town, ain't no one going to that game in Houston.
Okay. And that's my point. That's what I want to ask. And everybody that's listening to this podcast, why would you want to fight somebody? You're Ryan Garcia. You're 23-0 with 19 knockouts. You don't possess a belt. You're trying to be a budding superstar in this game. You're trying to come up. You're trying to establish yourself. Everybody that's a Tank supporter, including yourself, has said the same thing as terms of it's a payday. He's big on the food chain. And that's the problem I'm having. The problem I'm having is this. I feel like for Ryan and for people like yourself to say that's a money fight, shouldn't the goal of boxing, shouldn't it be to get a belt? Shouldn't it be to be undisputed? Because here's the thing. I love Tank. I know Tank is a big draw. And Tank has a belt. It's called a WBA regular champion at 135. But here's the thing. Devin Haney is 28-0. Gerard, he possesses all the belts. He is undisputed. He is the king of the division. I know we talked about it earlier. Yeah, it's too many belts, blah, blah, this and that. But my thing is this. Have we forgotten in boxing? What are we boxing for? Are we boxing for a payday? Or are we boxing for the belts?
You know what you could compare that to? You could compare that to when Pacquiao was hot. You know what I mean? There was a point when Pacquiao was hot, and that's the person you had to fight because he was making a lot of money on his fights. But everyone knew that Mayweather was better. You get what I'm saying?
I get it, but at the end of the day, and let's turn our attention to Devin Haney. At the end of the day, I mean, people talk about Tank and his incredible power. He's got the Mayweather money machine behind him. Mm-hmm. We all know that Mayweather is arguably the best ever to ever put on a pair of gloves. But Devin Haney, Gerard, and I want everybody to hear this, man, because I just don't understand why people don't give this young man his due. Devin Haney currently is 28-0 with no losses, no draws. He has all 4 belts at 135. He is the undisputed king of the division. He's 23 years old. He's the youngest of all these 4 guys we're talking about. Now think about that for a second. 23 years old, WBA, WBO, WBC, IBF champion. He has all the belts at 23 years old. And we don't give this guy his proper due.
You want to know what it is? You want to know what it is? When you watch him, what his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights, I think all went 12 rounds. Ain't nothing exciting to, going the distance all the time and having 13 decisions out of your 28 wins. I think sometimes people want that excitement. People want to go to boxing to see a knockout. And don't get me wrong, people like us, fans like us who know boxing, who's been watching it since the 80s, you know what I mean? Like with our grandparents, our fathers and stuff like that, we appreciate the art. But this is a new generation. People want to see knockouts. People want to go to baseball games for home runs. People want to, see the half-court three-pointers from Steph Curry's in. Haney's nice, but he ain't shown me enough yet with as far as like consistently not going 12 rounds,
But that's what I'm saying, though. You a Mayweather fan. That's what I'm saying.
But it was different. I told you, he beat you up. He made it fun. He danced around the ring. He did things. He would pull his hands down and just play with you like, you can't hit me. Like, he has fun with people. He's entertainment. Right now, I just feel like Haney could eventually get to that level, but he's not entertainment like that. You get what I'm saying?
What do you mean? Like,
Davis is entertainment. Davis
at the end of the day, I know, but at the end of the day, when Floyd retired, I mean, he's somewhat not retired now. He can call himself TBE because of his record. He's undefeated. You see what I'm saying? This kid is undefeated. I mean, yeah, the knockouts are incredible, but it's just like anything else. I mean, to me, it's like watching the San Antonio Spurs of the 2000s.
I can see that.
It wasn't a lot of, dunking on you. It wasn't a lot of superstar plays that they did, but they were a dynasty because at the end of the day, they were holding up the trophy. This kid is 23 years old. He's got more fights than Tank. I mean, and he's 28-0. There is no question There is no question that he's the champion. And check this out. His last fight, the fight that made him undisputed, he went to Australia to fight George Kambosos. He went into somebody else's backyard and pitched a shutout.
I can't front.
To bring back 4 belts. Like, when you look at the lightweight division, 135 pounds, to be undisputed, like, that's what I'm saying about boxing. What are we saying is more important? Because at the end of the day, you put on a pair of boxing gloves to win. You put on a pair of boxing gloves to say, anytime you see, when you see Floyd Mayweather, when he's making his case for TBE, the best ever, you see them pictures with him, you know, standing there. I mean, now his pictures are jewelry, stuff like that. You know, he's a businessman now, he's a promoter. But right when he was boxing, every time he would take a picture, it would be on that table, you know, that big ass table he got, and you see all these belts. And the thing about it is, Floyd was never undisputed. Yeah. I mean, to me, this is your progression in boxing. And you tell me, I know you're talking about the entertainment thing, but in boxing, you come up, you want to be a contender. You want to be a prospect. Then you become a contender. You get enough fights to the way you become a contender. You want to contend for a belt, for a championship.
Yeah.
Then you get the belt. You're a world champion. Now you're a world champion. You get to call the shots, who you fight, how much money you make. You collect another belt. You unify the division. That's what unify means, is you get another belt in that division. You got 2 or 3 belts. Then you turn around and you're trying to get all the belts. I mean, think about this. Canelo Alvarez right now is undisputed. Undisputed means he has all the belts at super middleweight, which I think is 168 pounds. I mean, yes, it is about making money. But I mean, what are we talking about here, man? Like, we don't give this young man, Jermell Charlo, one of the Charlo boys, shout out to Houston, Texas, super welterweight division at 154 pounds. He has all 5 belts. And to me, Ryan Garcia, okay? Ryan Garcia, let's say he wants to fight Tank, like you said, he wants to fight Tank for the money. Tank is the entertaining fight. Wouldn't it be wise to go get a belt? Because if you get a belt and you go to Tank, you say, Tank, fight me. Because if you're going to fight Tank right now, which is Ryan is trying to do, you got to fight on Tank's terms. Because Tank is the superstar. He's got a better record. He has more of a draw, even though Ryan has a good draw as far as fans. But if Ryan goes and gets a belt and says, Tank, fight me now, doesn't that change the negotiating terms? Doesn't that change? I mean,
I don't think you can risk that, though. I don't think you can risk that, though, because if you tell me you go fight Haney and you lose, your credibility for getting a fight with a top-notch, Davis is shot. You're never gonna get that. Right now, you tell me right now, I don't know how much they would probably pay him for the fight, but this right now, his value is at its highest right now. He's a hot name, a hot commodity. It's like being an NBA player. You have one good season, you sign that contract. Sometimes you can't bet on yourself and say, hey, I'm gonna see how this season goes, and I'm gonna, and like Lamar Jackson's doing right now, where he's not signing no extension or anything, he's betting on himself. I respect that. And that's what I think Garcia has to do right now. He has to just take advantage of it, because I don't think he could bet on himself. Not with Mr. Shakir, training in Houston over there, and not with everybody else in the weight class. This is his one shot and his one opportunity. And at least if he loses to Davis, he's never going to be a viable option again. But if he loses to Haney, he's never going to get a shot at Davis ever. At least until he has another 10 or 12 fights.
So you saying that right now, in the 135 pound division, when you got a 135 pound division right now, You're saying the most important thing for a prospect, somebody that's trying to be like Ryan Garcia, 23-0, 19 knockouts. You're saying that what Ryan needs to do, what should be important for him, is not fight the champion.
Secure the money, secure the bag.
So you get the bag.
Get the bag now, because there's also a benefit of fighting Davis is that if you take him 12 rounds and it's competitive, you'll get a rematch, you'll get another bag. If you take him 12 rounds, it's competitive, now you can fight Haney and you can fight some of these other ones and it won't take anything away and you'll still get a rematch with Davis down the line. But if he fights him now, he's not competitive. At least he secures the bag, but he'll never see a big fight again for a while.
So you saying that Ryan Garcia, for all you Tank fans, this is all for you entertainment fans. I personally think, since y'all want to see knockouts, y'all should go to the UFC, but that's for a whole nother discussion. So you saying right now, Ryan Garcia, 23-0, 19-0 with 19, 23-0 with 19 KOs, knockouts. He should not go after the belt. He should go after the most popular fighter, which is Tank Davis. Not try to go get a belt, because that's what we fighting for is belts. That's what we fight for. I mean, we fight for money. Don't get me wrong. You got to feed your family. But you don't think that a belt gives you more opportunity to make more money?
I think
because here's the thing. If you beat Tank Davis, which
you'll get the fight with Haney next anyway. But
you might not get that fight with Haney. Because if you lose to Tank Davis, you got to look at it like this. If you lose to Tank Davis, if I'm Devin Haney, let's say Devin Haney, he has a rematch right now in October with George Kambosos for the belts again, in which I think he's going to win those belts again. For Devin Haney, being able to control the division, what I mean by control the division, undisputed, all four belts rather. If Ryan Garcia fights Tank Davis, and you think that Ryan Garcia, which I agree with you, I think Ryan Garcia, I think he gets KO'd by Tank Davis. Doesn't that blow his chance to even go after a belt? Because not only did you lose to Tank, versus if you Ryan Garcia, if you put it, and here's the thing, try to look at it from this perspective. If you Ryan Garcia and you fight Tank and you lose, that's it for you. I mean, for a title shot, that's it. You're out of it.
I agree.
If you beat Tank Davis, you may have a shot. But if you fight Devin Haney and you lose, and you are gonna lose to Devin Haney. You're not gonna get knocked out, but it'll be a respectful loss, I think. I mean, you might get out of box, but you still will have a shot at Tank, I think, because Tank will probably fight you if you don't get knocked out.
I look at it like this.
You also have a chance to get a rematch for a belt. I'm just saying, and it bothers me because Bernard Hopkins said the same thing that you said. You know, he said that Ryan should be trying to, and Bernard Hopkins, God bless his soul, I don't believe he means what he says. I'm going to play that for you in a minute, but he basically said that Ryan needs to go after Tank. And it was a question posed to him. The same thing I'm posing to you is, the guy was like, well, why not go after Devin Haney, who has all the belts? And Bernard Hopkins says, and this is crazy to me coming from Bernard Hopkins, belts don't mean anything. And I'm like, what? Belts don't mean anything, Bernard Hopkins?
For the payday. You going for the, think about players in other sports. You in football, do you go play for the Rams and win the championship automatically next year, or do you secure the bag? If you telling me that freaking the Carolina Panthers are gonna give you $10 million guaranteed, or you go play for the Rams for $2 million guaranteed, which one are you gonna take? You gotta feed your family. It's inflation right now, man. You gotta get that money right now. Inflation in the government right now.
So it's money first, and that's why y'all can't win in New York.
I'm not saying it's money first.
In New York.
I'm saying.
So you know what? That's why y'all ain't won a championship in 30 years, because everybody trying to secure the bag instead of trying to get a championship. That's why y'all can't win in New York.
No one wants to sign with us because we got the highest taxes and $1 million and what you call what's it that Fat Joe said? he says yesterday's money ain't today's money or whatever. Yo, New York money ain't everywhere else money, man. Everything's taxed. But what I was saying, no, but seriously, I think on a serious note, I think that the smart move is to fight Tank, because if you have even if you lose, if you have a competitive fight, you're gonna get a fight with Stevens. You're gonna get a fight with
Stevenson, man.
Huh?
You saying Stevens?
Yeah, my bad,
man.
My bad, Stevenson. But you're gonna get a fight with somebody else. But at the same time, you also gotta look at it like this: if you fight Tank right now, I'm gonna make up a figure. He could probably get $5 million off that fight after pay-per-views, after whatever. You fight Haney right now, he'll probably see 2.5.
But doesn't the belt in the long run doesn't?
But he's gonna get that if he beats Davis or he's competitive, he could still fight Haney. And if he fights Haney and beats Haney, he'll get another shot at Davis.
Don't
and
fight Haney. If he loses to if Tank Davis loses to, I mean, if Ryan Garcia loses to Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia is done.
He's done. I will agree. It will take him about a good 5 to 10 fights for him to reestablish his name again.
So why not fight the champion and have a chance to win a belt versus fighting a guy who's not a champion? And if you lose, which you probably are, you're not gonna have a shot at the belt. See, that's what I'm talking about.
But you won if you so you're telling me this. So think about it like this: you fight for the belt and you lose and you get a less payday. I'd rather lose and get a bigger payday if I'm not gonna get the belt either way. In the back of his mind.
But you don't know that. Any given night in boxing,
you're right.
You can win a belt.
You're right.
You got an opportunity to win a belt, to fight somebody for the belt. You have to take it, especially when you're in a position like Ryan Garcia is. Like he's trying to, that's what I'm saying. That's the question.
It's what you value then. I guess what his core values are, man. Like whatever it is he values.
Is it securing the bag or securing a legacy? Because I feel like if you secure the legacy, the bag is gonna come. The bag is gonna come. But if you chase the bag and you don't get it, you don't have the bag and you don't have the legacy.
But if you chase the bag and you win, that's even going to propel you even further. So it's a risk. It's a risk either way. I just rather risk in the moment because tomorrow's not promised.
No,
you
man.
Get in a car. Who's that boxer that got in the motorcycle accident when he was at the top of boxing? Who was that? That was like 8 years ago.
Man, y'all, man, listen, y'all Tank fans, man. Y'all something else, man. Y'all. I mean, you know what? Tank fans are like, what can I say? How can I equate Tank fans? Tank fans are like Canelo fans. Like Canelo, like it's been questionable. Canelo has lost some fights. But I mean, it's just like, man, y'all fans, man, y'all are fans, y'all fanatics, man. Y'all just make up. Y'all don't logically look at things, man. I mean, I like Tank, man.
I mean, I'm looking at it logically. I'm telling you, if you could tell me I could make $5 million off this fight, regardless of the situation, and if I fight this fight and get 2.5 million, I'm gonna take the $5 million fight and worry about the other stuff tomorrow.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing. Y'all follow, and we should be following the Floyd blueprint. And Floyd tricked us all. Well, he took us to another level in the sense that Floyd showed you that you can chase legacy and get money at the same time.
I agree. No one did it better than him. He's a billionaire now, I think.
But if you go back to Floyd Mayweather when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, the thing he was training for, what he was chasing for was legacy. And you get to secure the bag when you get that legacy first. Because chasing the bag is exactly what you're talking about. You'll fight. Go ahead.
I don't disagree with you. I actually agree with you, but I don't disagree with the person who says I want to get paid now, especially because you don't know what their financial situations is, how they grew up or whatever. They might want to secure it because they don't feel like they're gonna ever get that. He might in his head might think that, yo, I could really never beat these other two guys. I can't beat Stevenson. I can't beat, Haney. But if I get an opportunity at this guy, I could get paid right now. So it's all perspective and what he wants for himself.
I mean, I guess, man. I mean, y'all Tank fans, man. Y'all just. And so let me ask you this: since we're on this subject, I mean, let's say Tank fights Ryan, which I think is a bad fight for Ryan, and Tank wins. If you Tank, do you fight Devin Haney?
I think it's a win-win for him. I think it's a win-win for him. I think he could. I think he should. I think right now anybody he fights is gonna get paid, especially from those three names. He's gonna get paid. But I would do it just to. I think if he fought him next and won those titles, his next fight is gonna earn him even more money. And I think that's actually genius if Mayweather says, I want you to fight Garcia now, beat him, and then we're going to get even more money for that Haney fight. And then by then, Mr. Stevenson will be ready to fight, and that will be the mega fight.
Between who? Stevenson and who?
Stevenson and Davis. That would
Do you think you think Stevenson can beat Haney?
Not yet. Like I said, give him another year, give him another 2 to 3 fights, and I think that he'll be there. I think he'll be there. So I think he could fight with anybody on that level. Like you said, he's the best technical boxer out there, and I can't disagree with you with that.
So who you think is who's the last man standing?
The last man standing?
Out of all of them. Out of all 4 of them.
If they wait till Stevenson gets a couple more bouts under him, I think he's the best boxer in that. But you talk about right now, your original question to me, who's the best boxer right now, is Davis. If you ask me who's the best boxer 2 years from now, I'll probably go with Mr. Stevenson. I'll be honest, I would probably go with him.
So what is it about Devin Haney you just not? Is it because his fights are not exciting? I mean,
no, I like Devin Haney. I have to do more research on him. I'll be honest with you. I haven't like I've seen multiple fights of Stevenson. I've seen multiple fights of Davis. I see multiple fights of Crawford and Earl. But like I need to watch Haney more. But I do like what I've seen from highlights from him. I think he'll beat Garcia for sure. And I think it would be a hell of a fight with Davis. I just don't think anyone's messing with Davis right now. And I think if Mr. Stevenson tries to fight Haney now, he'll lose to Haney right now. But I think the perfect thing is to let Garcia fight Davis, and then Davis and Haney fight, and then Mr. Stevenson fights the winner of those 2. That would be the G move right there.
Okay. Well, you take
because the belt is going to be there, and then he'll win the belts, and he'll be at the top of the game.
Man, y'all Tank fans, man. Y'all worse than Canelo fans, man. Everybody just wants to watch somebody get knocked out and get carried to the hospital and all that. Everybody just so, it's
I want to watch boxing. If you tell me, I will watch any of those fights that you tell me.
I know you watch it, but it's just like, man, y'all Tank fans, man. I don't know what to. Y'all, hey, man. Tank, here's the thing. Devin Haney is 23 years old. He's 28-0. He's undisputed. Shakur Stevenson is 25 years old. He's 18-0. He's unified. Ryan Garcia is 23-0. I think he's 23 years old. No belts. Tank Davis is 27-0. 25 wins by knockout. 27 years old. Mm-hmm. So he not only is that, he's getting up there in age. Because the boxer's life is, very short, especially when you're that small. And when is he gonna fight for a belt? Listen. When is he gonna fight for another belt?
I see it coming in the next year. I see him fighting one of these 3 in the next year.
He has to. He has to because he hasn't fought nobody on their level yet.
It's gonna happen.
Get out of here. And you know what? I like Tank, man, but y'all starting to make me hate Tank, man, because at the end of the day, like, Tank ain't fought nobody. What, he fought Rolly? He ain't fought nobody high profile lately. I guarantee you, and I'm gonna get off this subject because it's making me mad. First of all, you calling Shakur Stevenson Stevens, and then you sitting up here telling me that Tank is the best right now, and Tank ain't fought nobody on their level. Tank doesn't even have a real belt. Like, this is the disrespect, man.
But you know what? Everyone said that about my man TBE, man. He ain't fighting nobody. He fought him when he was at the end of his career. He did this. Yo, you fight who's in front of you. You do what you do, and that's what he's doing.
I guess, man. I'm a fan of Floyd. I cannot hate Floyd. He's one of the best to me. I don't know if he's the best of all
Nah,
time.
he's the best ever. He's the best ever. I mean, Ali's up there, and a couple of those other dudes up there. Don't get me wrong.
So,
but,
all right, let me ask you this, and then I'm gonna get off this Floyd thing because you're starting to make me mad again. You like on the Floyd and Tank, the flight, their special flight. You like on the same plane as them. You ride in the same, passenger seat with them, man, and it's all good. I mean, they great fighters. Don't give me this, but let me ask you this: since if you say Floyd is the best ever, right? You agree that Floyd is the best ever?
He's the best.
So you mean to tell me with Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard,
they nice.
Tommy Hearns,
they nice.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler,
they nice.
Floyd Mayweather beats them all.
They nice. They nice.
You saying they nice? Does he survive in that era?
He survives in that era.
And he beats all four of them.
The best boxer ever. The most skilled boxer ever.
So he beats Sugar Ray Leonard?
He beats every one of them. Hands down. Best boxer ever. Golly. There's only certain people in this world that can go and say that when God created me and gave me these gifts, I was the best ever at this. He's one of them.
And you know what? I hope people from Mayweather Promotions is watching this because y'all need to sign this dude, man.
Word. I'll let your boy, man.
Yeah, y'all need to sign this dude, man. But anyway, golly, man. So now we picking money over legacy. Okay. All right. Undisputed.
Just for
28-0 undisputed, and the man can't get no respect.
Just for now.
He is not the best fighter in the world, and he's got all 4 belts. I got you. All right, man, moving right along, man, because I really want your opinion on this next one. Draymond Green wants and believes he deserves a max extension contract from the Golden State Warriors, by which he is worth $164 million, actually $164.2 million. Draymond Green says he deserves that from the Golden State Warriors.
Did they drug test him yet?
That's what I'm saying.
Like seriously, like I like Draymond. I'm one of his biggest fans because he has that old school Knick mentality. Like when I see him, I think of like Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley. He's just one of those. He's that piece. Like they can't win a championship without him. Like I'll be honest with you. Like he's the player that makes them go.
Okay, like stop right there. Because I hear a lot of people say that. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it has some validity. But explain to me, when you say that statement, they don't win without him.
They don't.
Tell me the things that he does, the intangibles he brings that allows them to win a championship. People say that. People say they don't win without him. Explain that to me.
It's those unexplained things. He's a leader, and on every facet of the way, he holds people accountable. He leads on the court. He tells people where to go. He runs the offense. A lot of the offense runs through him. He does the little things. He dives for the loose balls. He sets screens. And these are the things that this new generation of basketball players, they don't be doing these little nuanced things to the game, running, throwing good screens and diving for balls. And they can't even take criticism. This dude right here will criticize you, will tell you the truth and be transparent and honest. And I think those are things that people miss. And sometimes that's that type of character. He's the glue. He's the glue that brings it all together for them. And I don't think that he's worth a full max. Don't get me wrong. And if I was to give him a max, I'm going to front end it and say, hey, you only have 2 good years left in you. And then you're going to be that super average role player. He's going to turn into like I can't even use that. That's a bad example.
Yeah, it's a bad.
He's going to turn into a journeyman. What's this dude? Was it Antonio Davis? Like he's gonna be that type of dude. He's gonna be a journeyman that's gonna be on the bench. Like seriously, all jokes aside, man. He's
Antonio Davis for the.
He's gonna be like Antonio Davis with the Pacers and then with the Toronto Raptors, and he might even play for the New York Knicks too. To be honest with you, like
Antonio Davis with the Raptors.
Yo, seriously, but he's like, if you want to say he's probably this new generation of without the rebounds of Dennis Rodman. He impacts winning. he impacts winning totally, and he could go on any team and he's going to impact winning.
So
guards multiple positions.
So you don't think? So you think the things that he does, you don't think he can be replaced? That's what
I don't think he could be replaced by the average Joe. I think a player that can replace him would be someone like Ben Simmons, because he does a little bit of everything, but they'll lose a lot of that leadership. They'll lose a lot of that toughness, that grit. And he gets it. He knows how to get into other players and change the aspect of the game with his emotion. And he just impacts the game in so many different facets. I think he's worth the money. I think he's worth an extension, but a 2-year extension.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's play devil's advocate.
All right? And he's not worth, he's making 24 million right now. He's not worth, I'll give him next year maybe 30. And then on that last one, I'll give him 24 again. You know, I'll give him a 2-year extension of 54 million or something.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you his agent, and you probably just did this, how is that your pitch to me as the Golden State Warriors? Because he's saying this is what, so you're representing him, okay? You're his agent. And let's say I'm the manager of the Golden State Warriors. It's time to negotiate an extension for him. And you might have just said it, but give me a little bit more concrete as to why you're representing him, why I should give him, meaning me, take money from my organization, barring his age and how old he is. How can you pitch to me that he's worth $164.2 million? Now, I know you don't actually agree with that. I know you agree with him getting an extension, but how can you convince me that he's worth $164.2 million?
Is it this? 4 championships, right?
Right.
That's one reason why. And I think loyalty sometimes. I think that's lost in sports sometimes. I think sometimes you got to pay people who got you to where you are. He's made this owner millions and millions of dollars, or he's one of the main reasons why this owner made millions and millions of dollars. And I think that he's good because he's on a winning team right now. You can't put him on the Knicks and he'll have the same impact. You can't put him on what you call it, on the Charlotte Hornets, and he'll have the impact of going to. But if you put him on a team such as like a Philadelphia, who just needs one more player to win a chip, if you put him on maybe a team like Phoenix, who needs a little bit more toughness, if you put him on a team like the Memphis Grizzlies, or if you put him on a team like Denver Nuggets, he could easily sway the balance of who's the best team in those divisions or to win a championship. But he's worth it for his team based on loyalty and based on the fact that he's a piece that can get them over the top to win a chip if you're already close to winning a chip.
So my response to you as the manager of the Golden State Warriors is, and I want you to respond back if you can, I appreciate the 4 championships, Draymond, and you were an integral part of that. However, you are now 30 plus years old. I think last year you averaged, or maybe within the last 2 years, this past championship run, which we were successful, you averaged 7.5 points a game, shooting 52.5 from the 4, 7.3 rebounds, 7.0 assists in 28 minutes per contest over 46 games. Now, the fact that you're getting older and Father Time is starting to catch up. And these numbers are not impressive numbers. Now, you told me before that your client's worth is more than points. It's the intangibles. It's the being able to run the offense. It's being able to motivate people. But my response to you, and if you could respond, my response to you as ownership, as management of the Golden State Warriors, yes, we have 4 rings off of your back. You were a big part of that. But you're not getting any younger. You're 6'8" at the most. Okay. I want another championship, but I also understand this. I got guys like James Wiseman. I got guys like Jordan Poole.
Unproven.
I mean,
Jordan Poole proven, but Wiseman's unproven. But keep going.
Okay. But I like him. And it's obvious to you that I like him because I got him around. I'm giving him another chance. Okay. Whether or not he's proven or not, I'm going to go with him. I believe in him. Andrew Wiggins has impressed me this year, as he should have impressed you. And you're a part of his development, Draymond. I will say that. But in order for me to continue to win championships the way I want to win, I got to do it by the same philosophy, but I got to do it with players that are younger. You have been a part of that process to groom these players to get better, and I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, not only is my goal to make a championship and win another championship ring, which you have done, but it's also I have to make revenue, okay? In order for me to justify giving you this extension, $164.2 million, knowing that you're aging, I have to be able to quantify or be able to put a number on your production. In order for me to do that, I have to have stats. I have to have something to measure your importance.
But there's your
hustle, the way you bring the young guys on, the way you motivate the young guys, great. But I can't quantify that. I can't put that into a number. I need a number for me to say he's worth $164.2 million to extend.
He's not worth that.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't have that. I don't have that. I can go to Steph and Klay and say, Steph has made this amount of numbers as far as three-pointers. He shoots this amount of numbers from the three-point line. I have Klay. Before he got hurt, this is what he was averaging. This is what he was doing. I have numbers as far as production that I can point to and say, this makes sense. Steph jersey sales, I make so much money off his jersey sales. Klay's jersey sales, I make so much money. I have a certain amount of people coming here to see them, and I can quantify that value. I can't do that with you. I can't do that with you, Draymond. The intangibles that you bring, they are necessary to win.
And me as his agent, I'm going to say to the owner, and you can't win without me either. So where are we going to meet? Like, are we going to give me a contract and incentivize things? And because there has to be a meet in the middle, because I know for a fact if I leave, you're not winning a chip.
But why? Why can I not win when your production doesn't show up in the numbers? Why can't I? Okay, yeah, what you bring is wrapped up in one package, one player. But of course, I might not be able to find somebody that can do everything you do. But
I'll give you an example.
Based on a production, if I can't find one guy to do that, can I get a barrage of guys do what you do? Hustle, motivate guys, rebound, guard.
But there's not a lot of players in the NBA that are him, that bring that leadership.
I know that, but I can piece that together though.
You can try.
I can piece 3 or 4 guys to hustle and do what you do.
You can try.
There's nothing that you show me as far as numbers that I can say, yes, I can justify that. So, hey, listen. At the end of the day, within the next 4 or 5 years, I'm going to lose you anyway. So I might not win another championship. That's the reality of it. But I got to start thinking about the next generation. There's nothing that you give me as far as numbers that can point to your production that says I have to.
Hold on. But you don't want to waste the last years of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Right now, he's the difference maker as far as, do we have another shot at another championship? Yes.
But Steph Curry and Klay Thompson give me numbers to say they deserve. Again, I got to be able to quantify production. Last year, you averaged, Draymond Green, you won $164.2 million extension. Last year, you averaged 7.5 points and 7 rebounds at 6'8". I have to have something that says, that gives me an exact number or barometer as to your production. 7.5 points, 7 rebounds for somebody that's 6'8", who's getting older. That justifies me giving you a $164 million contract extension? Yes, you have brought me championships, but I got to sell tickets. I got to sell jerseys. I have to make money. How do I justify going back to my executive saying I didn't pay Jordan Poole because I had to pay Draymond Green, who averaged 7.5 points a game, who is aging? I can't give Jordan Poole the money because I gave Draymond that money because Draymond brought me 4 championships. I have nothing to say as far as my numbers. Remember, I have to look at a budget. And there's no guarantee that there's nothing I can point to you and say, I can count on you giving me this. This quantifies into wins and losses. 7.5 points in the NBA with 7.3 rebounds a game. I don't even know if he makes that a game. Is not worth $164 million.
No. That I won't disagree with you. He has a, but I will say he's definitely not worth 160. And I would front load that extension into these next 2 years and tell him that, hey, I'm willing to give you, he makes 24 now. I'm willing to give you anywhere between 27 to 30 for the next year. And then the year after that, we can make it a team option based on your performance for the year that we gave you the extension. And we'll go from there. But I'm willing to extend them at least anywhere between 30 and 50 mil for 2 years, but the team option for the second year.
And I agree with that. I agree with that because at the end of the day, I think I'm on board with you with that. I can't give him $164.5 million. Now I can probably make that a little top heavy from the beginning, and Draymond understands this, and this is what I would tell him. You understand what comes with winning.
Yep.
What comes with winning, i.e. Tom Brady. God, I hate taking stuff from Tom Brady. Everything from Tom Brady, the reason why Tom Brady wins is because he has sacrificed his contract so his team can be better. And that's what I would tell Draymond. You're aging. You are a big part of this organization. What you bring to this organization has been valuable. But in order for us to keep this going, or in order for us to have a chance to win, we have to bring in younger players, and we need you to groom them. But we need to be able to play these players. I need to be able to pay Jordan Poole. Okay. I need to be able to give him the money. I need to be able to pay Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins deserves, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, Draymond, I need you to stay here. So I agree with you. I was just playing devil's advocate. I'm with you on that. As far as
it's those intangibles, like who's right. that linebacker for Dallas Cowboys who used to always hurt his neck or get concussions? Little white guy.
Oh, Zach Thomas?
What was it, Zach Thomas? You could not Zach Thomas.
Zach came from Miami and he finished in Dallas. He kept getting concussions.
There was another one that came after him. He was like that little quick dude. He used to guard tight ends, and just recently, Sean something?
It might have been. I can see the guy. I think I know you're talking about. I think
he's not the best player. He's not the greatest, but he was the glue guy for Dallas. Whenever he got injured and he was out for the season, the defense was horrible. Whenever he was there, they were great. He's the quarterback of that defense. He's the quarterback of that team at the end of the day. He makes Steph Curry even better. The way that he sets up screens and the way that he passes, he's so intelligent as a player. I agree with him wanting more because he also knows that he's 32. This is his last cash. This is the last time he's going to be able to cash in. And this is his opportunity. And I also think that management needs to be loyal. I think that there's certain players you're loyal for. You look at Derek Jeter, all those years with the Yankees. There was times when he was with the Yankees and I was like, he's washed up now. But the fact that he won so many chips with the Yankees and there's a legacy there, you have to keep certain players. And I feel bad because you have players such as Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, some of these players that were great that kept on changing teams. Hakeem Olajuwon going to Toronto. Like, these are players that you got to pay them because they meant so much to your organization. They meant so much towards winning. And I think sometimes you got to pay people just based off of that.
I mean, I get it. I get it. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, what I would counter with you on that is, yes, you're right. You do need to be loyal, but at the same time, sometimes you got to understand two things. For one, you can be too loyal in the sense that sometimes guys, if you don't get them out of the way, they can stay too long.
Yeah.
And I give you an example of here in Houston. You wouldn't know nothing about this, but this is a Houston thing. I always felt where the Houston Astros were back in the Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio era.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think they stayed too long. And the Astros allowed them to stay too long, to the sense that they pretty much played till they couldn't play no more. And I understood the loyalty. But what happened is that you kept your farm system down. You had young guys that needed a chance to play who couldn't play because these guys wouldn't move out of the way. And at the end of the day, call it what you want. You may hate the New England Patriots, but the reason why the New England Patriots continue to win is production. Can these guys still be productive? We love them. You know, we love them. We love for what they did for us.
Teddy Bruschi's and
right. We love them.
He's Teddy Bruschi. That's who Draymond is. He's Teddy Bruschi.
But at the end of the day, though, at the end of the day, Bill Belichick was willing to make the unpopular decision in New England because everybody loved Teddy Bruschi. But Bill Belichick was willing to say he's not as productive as we need him to be. As much as we love him, as much as he's done for this organization, and as much as he has put us on his back, and he's responsible for a lot of those Super Bowls, his production is going down. And so we'll keep you around, but we cannot give you all this money. Yeah. We'll give you some money. We'll extend you. That's why I agree with you. I'll meet with you in the middle on Draymond. I will give him an extension, yes. But it can't be, Draymond cannot be, it's 164 point something $1 million when Draymond, your production is not what
I agree.
You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you can stay too long with people, and I just feel like that's one of the keys to why the New England Patriots are successful. I even think the San Antonio Spurs, as Tim Duncan got older, they kept him around. They reduced his contract, and they played him in different spurts. Him playing 35 minutes a game no longer happened. Now he's playing 25. Now he's playing 20, but he's still productive in those minutes. He's
effective.
Exactly. And so at the end of the day, I don't think giving him Draymond, giving him all that money is the smart thing to do. I do think he deserves an extension, though. But
or they could just decide to say, "Hey, we'll give you $50 million, a 1-year contract, $50 million, and that's on us. Thank you for your services."
Right. I agree. Because at the end of the day, we could say this too. This is different, but it's the same. And hear me out on this. You're not gonna like this, but this is not a good example, but it is. When we talked about James Harden, and James Harden wanted an extension, and you said it, and you was 100% right. You said, I'm not giving him that max money.
Yeah.
Because his production is going down.
Yeah, and he hasn't won anything.
Yeah, he's not the James Harden that he was in Houston. Now it's kind of a bad example because Draymond won championships, but it's the same in the sense that when a player's getting older, their skills are starting to diminish. You can't justify giving them that money. And it's the same thing with James Harden. And I agree with you 100%. I think Philadelphia figured that out. I don't think they gave him everything he wanted, but they extended him, based on, and I thought it was a fair extension in the sense that he didn't have that much time to be there and prove himself. I thought he underperformed in the playoffs last year, but based on what he's done in the past and what we think he can still do, you can give him an extension, but you don't give him the extension he wants.
What's a good example of that is Lillard. They gave him a 2-year extension. I think that was the perfect extension rather than giving him what it would have been 5 years.
5 years, something like that, right?
$290 million.
Right, exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly.
But they said, hey, we're going to give you a 2-year extension.
Right.
Because I think his value is at 2 years. He's 32, about to be 34. It'd be different if he was a 6'6", 6'7" point guard where he could do more things. But once Lillard loses his athleticism,
Right.
he's gonna be average.
Right. And I agree with that. And I agree with that. And I agree with that extension. Because at the end of the day, and then it's kind of different because James Harden and Dame Leonard have not done what Draymond done as far as Draymond's role in winning championships. They're different, but Draymond does have hardware. So I can understand his agent saying, yeah, we need to get paid, because we were an integral part. But as an owner, as a manager, management, you have to consider production and you have to consider turning that page. So I'm with you. I agree with you 100%. I just wanted to see how you would pitch it. And I thought you did a good job being his agent in a sense. You brought up some good points, but I still think that, I think he
can't give him no supermax. He can't get that. He can't get that.
You can't get that. All right, let's go to the next thing. Let's move on to the NFL, and then we'll wrap up pretty soon. Of course, training camp is getting ready to start. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited about this season in the sense that I think what's going on with you guys in Buffalo, the Bills,
Buffalo and the Jets. Those are my two teams, man. Yeah. I'm the one person who got two teams, but the Jets is a little bit over the Bills.
Yeah.
Juan Alexander, by the way, we got him from San Fran today.
Right. And I think the Bills are so close, man. I think they were 1 or 2 plays away. And they got a shootout with Mahomes, and I just felt like it was one of those whoever had the ball last. I mean, you guys got a stud of a quarterback. I think the AFC East is on the rise, man. I think
it is.
I think the Jets are going to be good. I'm interested to see what's going on in Miami. Miami has everything. It's just they're going to find out if Tua is legit. They've given him everything. Of course, New England is going to be there. They're going to be competitive. I like the AFC West.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, the Raiders, and the we said the Chargers.
Even the KFC.
Kansas City is always
at KFC, but Kansas City, man.
Yeah, Kansas City with Mahomes.
Schuster is a hell of a receiver, and I think people forgot about that.
That's right. And I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder because people have forgot about him.
And he's playing with a real quarterback.
Right. So. AFC West. I mean, the NFC West is going to be competitive. San Francisco, Seattle. They lost Russell Wilson, but I mean, they're going to be competitive.
I think the two teams to watch out for is Philly and Dallas. I think a lot of people count Dallas out, but I think Philly and Dallas are going to surprise a lot of people how good they are, and the Saints. Jameis Winston is going to have a comeback year. Watch.
He could. I can't put it past him. I don't think Jameis has ever played real bad football. I think he's played mediocre football, but he was always hurt. But he gets a shot.
What I don't like about him, and what I don't like about, I hate the narrative that he gets, because I watch him and I'm like, Darnold, May whatever from the Browns, even Zach Wilson,
Mayfield, man.
Like a lot of these people are not better than him.
Yeah, Mayfield.
A lot of people are not better than him.
And I told people about Baker Mayfield. I never thought he was legit. I mean. I think the Browns, just like the Dolphins are doing with Tua, I think they gave him everything. I think they went to the playoffs one time. But I mean, I'm with you on Sam Darnold and Mayfield. I never bought them. But one guy I want to talk about, and we talked about this. This is the off-field stuff. Is Deshaun Watson. He's with the Browns now. He signed, and we've had discussions about him. He signed a $230-something million contract with the Browns. I think 5 years, fully guaranteed with the Browns. And of course, we know the situation about the legal stuff that he's been in. It looks like they may be getting to the tail end of it. Well, let me ask you this question. He's remained solid on his innocence. Should the NFL suspend him, in your opinion? Should he be suspended, and how long? And if there's any other stipulations you think that needs to be added in there, go ahead and add that. But should he be suspended, and how long, barring everything that's going on with him?
So I look at it like this. They sat him out for a whole entire year in Texas. I feel like that was part of a suspension already. Like, and I feel like the way that things came, I felt like the way that things came out was because he wanted to leave the Texans. So the Texans were being spiteful in the way that they treated him. And then you come out to hear that there's been 6 more people that they were covering up, and then they ended up settling with 30 people. I think that there should be some type of draft compensation taken from Houston, because I felt like they covered up the whole situation. And then I felt like it was real petty that they let all this stuff come out after the fact. Although, I'm not protecting Watson for the stuff that occurred, because that's totally wrong. When it comes to suspending Watson, I do believe that he deserves a suspension just for the way that he tarnished the league, and also I think just for the women out there as well. But I don't think he deserves a whole season. In my eyes, the fact that he missed the whole season, and then you add it to this, I would give him anywhere between 6 to 8 games with some community service. I think that he should have to go and talk about, women rights and respecting women and those different things. And go through counseling and mental health. And I think that should be something that's written in his contract, and also something that's forced upon him from the NFL, because I think for all this to happen with 30 people, there is some type of mental health or some type of sickness there that he needs to address. But I don't think that he needs continued punishment, because to me, it's almost 2 seasons that he's missing. And he's also settled with a lot of these women, and there's some compensation. So he's also losing some of his money. So for me, 6 to 8 games, I feel is fair. With the promise that he'll go to counseling, and what's the promise that he'll donate and speak on some of these issues when it comes to the Me Too movement and everything else.
Well, and you know what? I agree with you to a certain extent. I want to say this though. I don't think he held out in Houston. Mm-hmm. They didn't sit him out. He held out.
Okay.
They actually asked him to play, but I don't blame him for holding out, barring the situation and how they treated him. I mean, I'm around here, so I know exactly what's going on. I've had that conversation with you. I actually think that his suspension should be less, and I'll give you my reason why. I think he needs to be suspended for 4 games, and that's it. And my reasoning behind that is this. He was never found guilty in a criminal court of law. Mm-hmm. He was never found guilty of all the charges they accused him of. And so we don't have a verdict of guilty. And some people may counter me and say, well, by him settling the lawsuits, that's his way of admitting that he was guilty or he was wrong.
That was complicit.
Yeah. And I can understand people saying that, but to me, I think he deserves 4 games for tarnishing the shield, which is the NFL. Mm-hmm. But because he wasn't found guilty, 4 games is the maximum for me.
So I have a question for you. Did they ever suspend Peyton Manning or any of these other players that were accused of any sexual misconduct, wrongdoing?
Well, see, that's the thing. And what comes to mind, and that's a good question by you, what comes to mind when we start thinking about this kind of behavior, something similar to it is Ben Roethlisberger. Mm-hmm. Didn't they catch him in the bathroom somewhere in a club or somewhere raping women or something like that? I think, and don't quote me on this, I think he may have got 6 games. I know he wasn't out for a whole season.
Yeah, he wasn't out for a whole season. They're trying to make an example of him if they give him a whole season. I'm totally against it.
Right. And so I think the NFL, first of all, the NFL, I know they have to do something. There's a shield they have to protect. And they've worked hard as far as trying to,
repair the image,
the domestic violence things with Ray Rice and, all of that. So they've worked hard to do that. I think they have to do something to kind of keep that image. But if I'm Deshaun Watson's people, I can contend in the sense that he was never found guilty of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does he have an issue? Yes, I think he does have an issue that needs to be addressed. I think you're right in terms of all the things, in terms of there needs to be stipulations. And if I'm the NFL, I expect him and his team to do that on their own. Because if I gotta say, hey, you're gonna go to counseling, you're gonna do this and that, then that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I expect his team, I expect the people who handle him to already have him in situations, like you said, going to counseling, speaking to groups. I can't make him, I don't think they can make him pay money for nothing like that. But he should be doing that. If he's got any kind of sense of anybody around him is advising him on good advice, good things to do, he should already be doing that. But because he hadn't been found guilty, and a lot of people are not going to like that when I say that. I mean, what am I punishing him for, other than his behavior? And as far as we know, legally, he did nothing wrong according to the law. So if he was found innocent, I mean, other than what grounds do we stand on as an NFL to punish him beyond 4 to 6 games?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think 6 games is.
I think 6 games is enough. I just said 6 to 8 because I just don't want them to do the full season. But right. I think 6 games. I think 4 to 6 is honest. Is based on what you said and what you just brought up. I think it.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, hey, the guy maintained his innocence, and he was found not guilty. Now, again, his behavior is unacceptable. What he was doing is reckless. And as far as him representing the Shield, that's what we got to address. But if his team is getting ahead of that, if they're being proactive, I think a 4-game suspension should be warranted. Just to say, hey, because you're a quarterback and you're representing us, you behaved in a manner that's not good for our image, not good for our league, not good for the young fans, the parents that we're trying to get to invest in our product. So we're gonna suspend you for that. But at the end of the day, and another reason why I say it's only 4 games is that, and I can only say this because I'm here and I explain the situation. I feel the way the Texans handled it. I think the Texans are guilty on how they handled him and how they handled the whole situation.
Yeah.
And so, I think the Texans are somewhat responsible in terms of how things played out. I think what the Texans did to him was not the type of behavior I want my organizations, and I'm speaking from Roger Goodell's standpoint, that's not how I want my teams to treat players. And I'm not saying star players, I'm saying players, period.
Yeah.
The whole situation about George Floyd and how the Texans and how I've tried to have all the rest of these teams, we need to involve Black coaches in the hiring process. I feel like the Texans, the way they handled that, they promised Deshaun Watson, they asked him to be a part of that process. And when he gave his suggestions, they didn't do it. And so it started a whole mountain of things. And I just think ethically, they didn't handle that right. And so why should I suspend him more than 4 to 6 games? Again, he hadn't been found guilty, and the organization didn't act ethically in my eyes. And that's me as an individual, as Roger Goodell. So I think 4 games is enough. I'm not even sure if I want 6 games. He hadn't been found guilty of anything.
So I want to ask you a question. I'm going to segue away from this slightly. Miles from Charlotte Hornets, recently accused of child abuse, I think it was, and of abusing his girlfriend. I want to say that I think it was both. Does he play this season? Should Charlotte outright release him? Because they do still own his player option, and they haven't released it yet. Do you see a future for him in this league? Will he recover from this?
Just like Deshaun Watson, what's the legal part? The legal part first. I mean, these are allegations so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think as the NBA, you wait to see how it plays out. Now, if I'm the Charlotte Hornets, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why he's gone is because of, and this is going to kind of sound backwards, but, you know, that tarnishes my brand.
Yep.
As far as we know something happened. Maybe I buy him out and just outright release him. But if I'm the owner and I have that right to do that, I would. I think what comes with what's going on with him, he needs a new start somewhere else.
Yeah, he does.
And I think that for him, for his family situation, for our franchise, it would just be best that he would go somewhere else.
And it was felony domestic violence
Right.
that he was
Right.
arrested for,
Right.
which is surprising to me, as I know that he needs to go somewhere else, and I agree with you when he says that. What's surprising is I'm surprised he hasn't signed that qualifying offer.
Right.
To secure some type of bag.
Right.
And it's sad to say, like, I don't want to just bring up money, like when this is some bad, this is bad, regardless of the situation. Domestic violence is bad, it's evil, it should never happen. But that also surprised me. I'm surprised that Jordan hasn't pulled the qualifying offer, and I'm also surprised he hasn't taken it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But I mean, I think, it's just a tough situation. And guys got to understand this as players. You got to understand this. You put the organization in a bad spot. And what I mean by that is that I know you've given us your time and your talent and your body and your skills, but at the end of the day, we are still selling a product.
Yep.
And we're selling a product we're trying to sell a product to, fans, and particularly the family, and the female is a vital part of the family, whether it be the mother or the sister or grandmother, something like that. So when these allegations come up, it hurts my revenue base. It hurts my ability to be able to sell tickets, to pay your salary, to pay everybody else's salary.
Especially in a small place like Charlotte.
That's detrimental. And so we lose those fans, and it's not the fair thing to say, but it's reality, it's business. Even though it's allegations, I have to do something to satisfy my fan base, and particularly not just females, but everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think even if he's found not guilty, and some people criticize me for that, I think he needs a new start. I think he needs to go somewhere else. He definitely can still play. I think if all the necessary measures are put in as far as his part, as far as what he needs to do, if he does that and he's responsible, he can play somewhere else. I think everybody deserves a second chance, but at the same time, if he's found guilty of this, I know as an owner, I don't want any part of him.
Yeah, I agree.
And I hate to say that. I really do, because he's a young brother and he plays hard, and I love the way he plays. I would love him in Houston.
Yeah.
But
just think about Ray Rice. He never made it back.
Right.
He never made it back.
And at the end of the day, what's unfortunate about it is, we don't know, thinking from the other side, we don't know if he did do that, meaning Miles Bridges. We don't know if something caused that. We don't know if that's in his background, if his parents did it to him, or if he saw that, or we don't know what's going on with him and the female. Maybe she did something, that made him go off, but it never should warrant that if he did.
It should never warrant that.
And so, it sucks, but at the end of the day, you got to be a man and you got to walk away from that situation. And you being a part of my team, I'm Michael Jordan. I can't, that tarnishes my product.
Yeah.
And even if you leave even if I get rid of you, if I buy you out or move you around, I'm still going to take a hit, you know, because at the end of the day, I got to fill your spot. I got to rearrange my team, you know, and if I don't do, and it's nothing that Jordan can do about this, he can't control it. But if he doesn't handle it the way it needs to be handled, as seen from the fans' eyes, it's gonna starve a team that's already struggling, a team that hasn't won in years. It's gonna starve that market.
And it's one of those things that even if he does come back, I could see the commissioner at least get him at minimum a year.
Yeah, he's gonna be suspended.
And if they do let him back, I think I could actually see him getting 2 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, the Malice at the Palace, they were fighting fans that were throwing drinks, and they got Ron Artest, Steven Jackson. Games, right? Yeah. So, I mean, and everybody saw that they were getting beer thrown on them, you know? And so I just think it's a tough road for Miles Bridges, man.
Yeah, he might be in Europe.
He may not ever play in the NBA again.
Yeah, he might be in Europe.
Yeah.
Or in Drew League.
Man, you something else. Well, look here, man. Hey, appreciate it, man. We getting ready to wrap this thing up. Man, I think it was a great episode. I want to thank you for joining me again. You know, when we do this, man, you know, I feel like we one of the best teams out there.
For sure, man. I remember those days when I was a student manager and you scoring points for Binghamton, man.
That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah, a long time ago, man. We ain't gonna talk about our age on TV though, man.
I know. I think we look pretty good, man. But hey,
appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, shout out to you, man. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you being here tonight. Hey, man. I think it was another episode for the books.
Yes,
shout out to Chuck and the Most Serious family. Shout out to you, Gerard, all my friends, family up there in New York, everybody around. Shout out to all of those who are watching or will be watching. We will have social media available later on. But until then, thanks to everybody who tuned in. Thanks to Rude Boy Gerard Cole. And thanks to everybody that's watching. We out.
You see it, man. Peace out, H-Time.